Hey, life group leaders, just wanted to touch base with you again and briefly continue walking through the rhythms of Rooted and how integral they are, how important they are to continue driving home, tying into our life group experiences. After a while, our life groups, it's possible for our groups to seem a little bit routine, or they've lost the flair or the spice or whatever. And coming back to some of these rhythms and some of these basics and making sure that we're paying attention to them because they spark depth and meaning and relational connection, it will just help. So I know that Paul shared last week where I wanted to jump in and just as we continue the Rooted Rhythm conversation relates to strongholds. Now, strongholds is maybe a unique term. It can be a military term. As it relates to this spiritual journey that we're on, we use it to describe those weaknesses, struggles in our life that are energized, that are extra difficult, extra challenging, that seem to have kind of wrapped themselves around our heart or our soul. And this is a pattern in our life that we wrestle with, that we deal with, that we struggle with. We talked about it in the Rooted experience. For some of you, that was not too long ago. For others of you, it was years ago. And bringing it back up is not simple. It's not easy, especially if maybe your group hasn't been in the rhythm of sharing very vulnerably. But I'll tell you this, just last night, my group hasn't met for a while because of families having babies, including mine, and other families being just going through some stuff. So there's been a gap in our meeting. We got together again last night. And when you talk about strongholds, you want to talk about it in the same sex. So dudes, we met and we talked, and then women, they meet and they talk. And I just let out, the topic of conversation was more along the lines of hearing from God, but I just jumped in and shared, connected it to my divorce and some consequences that played out during that. Now, I don't like to talk about my divorce. That's not the fun thing for me. That's not what I enjoy going back to, but it's a place where everyone can connect because it's my most broken place. It's my most devastating place. It's the most painful place from my past, and people around the circle can relate to pain. They can relate to the struggle. They can relate to the compensating behaviors or whatnot that maybe were derived from that. So I just went there, and then it's just like dominoes. Then the next guy's talking about his divorce and his awakening and his struggle still with the ex and the management of the kids and all that kind of stuff. When you go there, they'll go there. And when it's in just the guy on guy and the girl with other women context, it's easier, it's safer, and people feel like, okay, the leader is going, the leader is being vulnerable and honest, and I can jump in here too. So that's what I want to encourage you to look for, a place where you can go vulnerable and you can share a struggle. You don't have to call it a stronghold. You don't have to use that language. Use language that people in the circle understand, but be vulnerable and let them know that you are there to come alongside, that people are not going to judge them, not going to reject them, that there's help that people in the circle will pray with. There's help that people in the circle maybe will call and follow up, or there's professional references for people that are stuck in deep addictions and can't get out. We as a church community want to be able to help people on those journeys, but we can't know them unless they're sharing them in this kind of an intimate context. I hope that helps. I hope that you'll be able to look for ways that you can interject and be vulnerable yourself. And then we will pray, Paul and I and the team will pray that you will have meaningful connections with people as they're vulnerable and reaching out for God to do restorative, transformative work in their lives, in our lives, in all of our lives. So grateful for you. God bless you.